Alrighty then, in this video, Spawn the Dark Ages, we're going to talk about the tragedy of the Hellspawn. So previously in Spawn the Dark Ages, the discovery of a secret garden opens the doorway to the treacherous actions of those close to Lord Arinius. Now in this panel right here, Lord Arinius is a character, he's the main character, he's lost in a mystical dream, surrounded by floating ruins and the whispers of the old gods. Under the branches of the sacred tree, the warrior is in a nice escape from everything that gives him all this hellish burden. It's a moment of pure peace, but you know, in these dark ages, how long can any dream last? And he'll find out after post-nut clarity hits. Now his companion, Lady Danunos, tells him to keep still. She's teasing him to paint him with that little thing on his face that gives him that grim look, but he remains a stoic statue. He claims he doesn't understand, but that icy stare says it all. This is a warrior born for the blade. Now victory is hollow whenever that victory will come. Lady Danunos, or Cake Danunos, senses him drifting into the shadows, haunted by a destiny he can't yet see. He emits his dread. Despite their success, a darker nightmare looms. The battles for the land is over, but the war for his soul has just begun. And the sanctuary is broken. A cry from the ancient stones interrupts the king's private ritual. It's Divicius, the druid, and he brought news that can't wait. Aurelianus realizes that even here there's no escape. The burden of the crowd follows him everywhere. The king's authority is crumbling. In the dark alleys of Winchester, religious tensions turns into open hostility. Christian commoners are now openly defying the godless king, harassing anyone they deem pagan scum. It's a dangerous time to be loyal to the old ways. The kingdom is a powder keg, and the crown's protection is fading fast. The prophecy is a heavy blow. Divicius tells King Arinius that his love for Danunos is impossible and he must let her go to save his kingdom. Arinius tries to find a loophole, hoping that the pagan marriage might unite his people, but the druid is firm. In every vision, this path leads to only ruin. There is no magic or force of will that could change the king's tragic destiny. And betrayal is brewing in Winchester. General Attilius is stunned to find the father Kentigern meeting with the Saxon king. The priest argues it's a holy necessity to unite the country under Christ and purge the pagan infidels once and for all. It's a ruthless power display, using religion to pressure King Arinius into abandoning his ways or losing his throne to a holy war. Now caught in the act, Danunos confronts the traitorous priest, accusing him of sacrificing the king for power. He mocks her as a pagan vermin, but she's determined to expose the treachery to the king. The tension explodes as she tries to escape, but with a massive guard blocking her path, these secrets might stay buried forever. And I want to get more back into that. That's pretty dope right there. So Betrayal reaches a deadly impasse. As the Druidess is silenced, we're left with a haunting vision of a soul lost in the dark, churning waters. The narration chillingly warns that there is no way out. Well, that took a turn, but I want to get back to this, you know? Aurelianus is trapped in a surreal nightmare. A mysterious queen toys with golden spirits while he drowns in a dark vision. But reality bites back when a golden blade pierces flesh with a sickening His mind is a war zone and the pain is becoming all too real. From the peaks to the pits, the chase is on. We see Danunos scrambling through a jagged subterranean maze, her every move watched by shadows. Towering above is a winged nightmare with a blade. While smaller demons stalk her through the tunnels, it's a frantic claustrophobic race for survival, and the walls are closing in. And speaking of absolute horror, this winged demon beast impales Danunos in a gruesome display of violence. Arinius bolts awake in a cold sweat, screaming her name. Was it just a nightmare or a psychic warning of the bloodbath to come? The nightmare was a warning, and Arinius is spiraling. He races through the stone corridors, desperate to reach Danunos, but the druid Divicius stops him cold. The oak Noah reveals a brutal truth, that the vision of her being impaled was symbolic. It's the final sign that the king must let her go for the sake of his people. Arinius is crushed, feeling like his own heart has been sliced in two by that spectral blade. But the druid is relentless. Hey, I gotta give it to you straight, bro. In this world of the gods and kings, duty must always come before love. And look, man, that's just how betrayal works in the moonlight. Divitius claims he must remove the king from future events, plunging a magically tempered oak spear straight into Earl King's chest. That's the brother from the last issue. Remember where he just goes into that statue, just wants to rest from all this evil? But you can't kill a hellspawn that easily. Earl King erupts in a scream of pure agony, striking back with a savage reflex that tears a druid's face apart. As Divitius falls, a wounded Earl King staggers away into the net, his last strength spent calling out for Danunos. Things just got bloody. Now the tension in Winchester is thick, so is that cake, and Lady Danuno stands her ground, sword in hand, facing off against General Attilius and the treacherous priest Kettinger. She is not playing games. She demands the generals choose. Either hand his lion monk over to the Saxons or end his life right here. But Attilius is caught in a spiritual vice, torn between his loyalty to the king and his devotion to the new god. As the room falls silent, a dark decision is made, and the consequences are going to be bloody. Danunos has had enough. She lunges with a lethal cry of "I'm gonna kill him," but the priest fumbles for a desperate defense. A deafening clang echoes through the stone walls as blade meets metal. The general rushes in to stop the execution, but you know what, homegirl's seeing red right now, and the peace of Winchester is officially shattered. It's an all-out brawl. In Winchester, Danunos proves she's more than just a mystic going toe-to-toe with a massive General Attilius. She lands a brutal strike that sends a soldier reeling. While the priest cowers, these two former allies are tearing the room and their loyalty to pieces. Attilius is a total powerhouse, but Danunos brings the house down, literally, shattering a massive timber right against him. Splinters fly everywhere as the druidess fights to stay, standing against the raw, unchecked fury. It's a miracle the floor is still holding. Attilius is down, spitting blood while the cowardly priest watches from the floor. The general tries to rally, but Danunos puts him down for the count with a final bone crushing. Like, come on now, she's ready to do the nasty. He's out, but the victory feels hollow. You can see the regret written all over her face. And treachery is always behind the back. So while her back is turned, the priest Kettinger drives a blade straight through Danunos. The nightmare has become a reality. Blood is spilled in Winchester, and there goes the prophecy they were talking about. Is this the end for the king's great love? And you know, Kettinger isn't remorseful. He's spitting venom. He rages at Danunos, cursing her for ruining his dream of a Christian Britain. With his plan in tatters, or whatever, just his plan kind of got foiled, the cowardly priest cloaks himself and flees, leaving her to bleed out in the cold dark. His final heartless words, "You're gonna die here, alone." And as we go into this last panel right here, it ends on a bone-chilling note. This is the Earl King, a walking corpse stumbling through the city streets with a spear still buried in his chest, or at least the scars from it. Guards are screaming at the vile ghoul to stay back, but he's possessed by one hunting thought: treachery. This independent monster is on a mission of his own, and his arrival means Winchester is about to face a nightmare even the Hellspawn might not be ready for. So we will continue this, but that is the end of Spawn the Dark Ages issue number 4. Things are looking grim for Lord Aurelianus, and betrayed by his mentor, his lover Danunos left for dead by a priest, and now the Earl King is stalking the streets. So the religious war for Britain has officially claimed its first victim. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. Also, link in description if you wish to add this comic book and or any of our other limited print Rated Comics exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. With all that being said, thank you again for watching. Until the next upload.